But then finally at 9:45, so they milked it till an hour and 45 in. And I think Rock might figure the third hour, the second coming, with cartoons and a travel log couldn't save this fucking thing. So at 9:45, the place goes dark, and then if you smell, and there's a big fucking pop. Because it's The Rock, he's going to get one. And then have they changed his music again? It was rappy of some description in there, but at the same time, there's elements of the boom boom. Well,
they changed it up, but even like at his peak, they were doing that where they would keep the intro and then kind of modify everything else. Also, I don't know how much he's super over, or at least when he first came out. And he gets a big pop, but I think some of the pop is built into the music the way they do with Ospreay and Omega and other people. Well, at least Ospreay. I don't know about Omega, at least Ospreay.
They sweetened the pop. But he's going to get a pop because it's The Rock, and he hadn't had time to piss these people off personally yet. A second. So it's by the time that the music and the entrance and he milks, it's 5 minutes and everybody's up to say because it's The Rock. They just found out they were getting this today. And then he gets on a microphone and he gets bleeped in the first 30 seconds. I'm not sure what all he was saying because he speaks quickly for a novice lip reader such as myself, but he gets a pop live in the audience for saying something. He gets bleeped on network television, in which it works every once in a while. But remember when he did it in NXT, it was just...
He does it every time now.
Over and over.
It's his way for a cheap pop. I mean, based on the way this whole promo went, you would have to watch this and think, this is a guy that has all the skills or has had them in the past, and there's something completely off right now, a disconnect. And I think that is a crutch. It's a cheap pop. I'll come in there and immediately curse because I'm not supposed to. And it works. And it works.
I think also this is like a guy who has all the tools or skills, as you said, however, and also has Tourette's syndrome because he's saying everything at the same time. He's saying shit for people to cheer for him. He's saying shit for people to boo him. Are we supposed to? That's part of the problem here we'll get into. Are we supposed to like him? Are we supposed to hate him? What the fuck is it? There's a difference between, remember we're always talking about, oh, it's so great. We're guessing about, is it going to be this match or that match or who's going to win this thing? That's great. Keeping them guessing is great. Confusing them is not the same thing and is not great. He announced that WrestleMania is coming back to New Orleans, which got the expected big pop from people that came to see this show to begin with. And they're at the Superdome April 11th and 12th of 2026. And then the fans start shit, holy shit. Well, whoever Mr. Audio at the network is, the censor guy, is trying to mute shit out of holy shit. So it's just in and out sound. And then Rock says something, it gets bleeped again where they just completely mute whatever he fucking said. And then he started singing When the Saints Go Marching In. I mean, it's like coming to fucking Louisville and singing My Old Kentucky Home. But then he starts healing on the crowd and telling them to let him sing and calls them STD having trailer park trash. And he gets booed. And I wrote, what is happening? But the thing is, he's not even saying that. I can't believe I'm saying this in an affectionate, joshing way. He's instantly going back to the heel Rock. But is he think he was going to get heat for getting cheered because he's a glory hound and had to be the one to come out and announce that WrestleMania is coming to New Orleans? And then he can call them fucking syphilis-ridden perverts, or what's happening here, Brian? Before we even get to his cohort in this,
Before I got to the part of this, before we get there where I thought he wanted to fuck Cody, my first thought was, I think The Rock may be drunk. And I'm not joking. If anyone thinks I'm just out here joking, my first thought was, I think The Rock may have enjoyed some spirits tonight, but I don't know. The whole thing was bizarre. He went from babyface to heel to babyface to heel to I'm an executive to whatever, I'm one of the people. Cody, once again, I know that The Rock apparently said that him and Cody have this great chemistry together. You don't really see any kind of chemistry. You see a confused wrestler. I don't know what this was.
I see the warmth between Cody and The Rock of formaldehyde.
It's no chemistry at all.
It's like peanut butter and fucking sardines. But so The Rock, being he, too many pronouns, pal, calls out a man that he respects and admires, our WWE champion, Cody Rhodes. And Cody gets the entrance. And now remember, we started at 9:45 Eastern. Cody gets the entrance. And Cody comes in the ring and they hug each other and they smile at each other, and The Rock kisses Cody on the cheek. Was that where the part where you thought that Rock was going to fuck Cody?
No, it was the whole just talking to him like he was Puff Daddy.
You didn't mean sexually.
No, I did mean sexually. It was just the whole tone of like talking to him like Puff Daddy trying to recruit a rapper. It was that whole fucking vibe.
Do you think that Rock has been to any of Diddy Daddy's parties?
Who knows? I'm sure we will find out. I'm sure a lot of people.
Well, how would he know the verbiage for the pitch of being pitched to be one of the Diddy Daddies?
I'm not exactly sure, but again, there's still so much more to go with this, but this is another appearance by The Rock, coming off that NXT one that went nowhere, and the one before that, and the appearance at the pay-per-view, at the end of the pay-per-view with War Games, where he just came out for no reason and then disappeared. There's a weird thing going on with him where he's just kind of doing his own thing. And the other thing is, none of his stuff that him and Gewurz or him and himself come up with, none of it's really working beyond the star power of him being The Rock of years old. Everything he seems to be trying to do isn't working. And then he started repeating himself.
Well,
and that was the point where you're like, what did he have in his mind? Because maybe he needs to start writing down the promos on his hand again. I really don't know.
Well, he was lost. It was like he was workshopping, to use a term I've heard before. Some of that was like he was workshopping the shit instead of actually doing it on TV, because he went back and reiterated so many points, sometimes in the same verbiage, sometimes he would change it up a little bit, but it was rambling. But that's the point. By the time they hugged and kissed, it was 10 o'clock. So 15 minutes for WrestleMania's coming to your town. I'm going to sing and y'all have syphilis. And then The Rock pitches how he and Cody have become such good friends after WrestleMania last year. And he showered praise on him at the Netflix debut. And he said Cody's a great champion. And they showed a picture of their mothers together, smiling in happier times. They're friends, but Cody needs to understand that The Rock is on the TKO board. And then at one point, Ari Emanuel owns the WWE, but Ari tells The Rock that he's the most powerful guy in the WWE. But he's in with all of the, it's kind of a roundabout. But The Rock pitches that he wants Cody to be more than our champion. He wants Cody, in Rock's words, to be my champion. And of course, then people are so they don't trust this. And Cody's confused. You're champion. I'm their champion. Points to the fan. And yeah, now they're chanting Cody, Cody.
Should they have said he's the people's champion? I mean, that's kind of what it was all. The Rock is supposed to be about the people, and now all of a sudden he's doing this thing.
Well, but then remember, he had to reiterate later on, and I'm the people's champion, and blah, 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 and kind of slid it in there. But the I don't know if Cody, came up with this whole thing and he twisted everybody's arm to do it, then I apologize to Cody for shitting on this segment. But the only thing that Cody could say to make the point that they're trying to make here, vague though it may be, is that Cody would say, "I'm not your champion or the company's champion. I'm their champion." That's a logical thing to say. And then I also got him chanting Cody's name because the fans like that, because The Rock is rapidly getting under their fucking bonnet here. And again, Rock's always going to have fans, and there's so many people just with the movies that don't even know what was going on with the wrestling. But for this, again, you're going to see a backlash from the audience that buys tickets, makes the effort to see it live, especially on pay-per-views, that type of thing. Now is going to start getting the sour belches in larger numbers when The Rock shows up, because he's going to get in the way of something that they've been invested in and confuse the fucking issue. But I digress. The Rock knows that I'm trying to jot down the reasoning. What is this story? And he said, Cody's goal is to bring happiness to people around the world. And he's got millions of followers on Instagram. Well, Rock has 500 million. Do 500 million people follow him on something, whatever the fuck the Instagram is?
I think he said
legitimately.
I don't know about legitimately. I'm sure there's a ton of people across the world, but I'm also sure that that number has to be padded.
Well, however that works. But anyway, the Rock gives him the big pitch. He wants Cody to be his champion so he can open the doors for him. Every dream will come true. Hollywood. He'll be in the show business, Brian. They'll be calling him sweetie and daddy and mama and brother and sister. And
oh yeah, maybe him and his wife could ruin Cody's career like they ruined the guy who played Superman's career.
Oh, who was that? They must have ruined him. I never heard of him.
Henry something. I forget what his last name is.
Oh, good old Henry. So The Rock gives the big pitch, right? If you're my champion. And Rock said, one thing I've never had is a brother.
Now, hold on.
There are a couple of...
There's like a half dozen siblings out there that he doesn't acknowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean... he might not have had someone that he felt was a brother, but they've had enough siblings that he'd have a brother by geneticism.
He always wanted a brother, just not one actually related to him. Just not one that was actually that had the same dad as him. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, and that's what Cody can be, a brother from another mother. And, then he goes into the story. Last year, my goal was to face my cousin Roman Reigns for the title. It was what was best for business. The biggest match ever. And what did you do? Well, we'll never know, ladies and gentlemen, because then The Rock said, you audio mute. And people react, but it was completely blanked out. And he said, you stood up to me and you slapped me, and nobody gets away with that. And that's why you should be my champion. What the fuck is happening here? And then a repeat about Cody's dreams coming true. And then he says, don't give me an answer tonight. Think about it. I'm like, for more time? I'll meet you in Toronto at the Elimination Chamber for your answer. Answer of what? He's the world champion. They're fighting in the Elimination Chamber to see who gets a shot at him. And it's already obviously, or gets a shot at some title or whatever the fuck is going on. He's in the fucking mix. If he just pledges allegiance to The Rock, he can meet the Hollywood agents. What is the big pitch to go to the dark side here?
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, then The Rock turns around and he thanks the crowd. Yeah, you've been a great audience. You've been a great disease-ridden, syphilis-faced audience. and I really appreciate it. And then he looks and says to Cody, says, "What I want more than anything is that," and he points at the belt. You think he's pointing at Cody there with the belt over his shoulder, and Cody says, "You want my championship?" No, no, I don't want your belt. I want your soul. And the crowd mildly booed. Rabble, rabble. And Cody has to look confused, which everybody else actually kind of has to also. And The Rock said, "See you in Toronto." And he walked out to mild booing again, but he stopped dramatically twice in the aisleway to look back over his shoulder at the distraughtness and dumbfoundery that was on Cody's face. And scene. 28 minutes for that fucking segment.
And I turned off the show after that. I didn't realize till the next day there was still more to go. That went so long and it went past 10 o'clock. I forgot it was a 3-hour show.
Hey, you couldn't wait to get out of there.
That was
You
something.
didn't realize they were coming back on stage for an encore.
I got killed a few years back when I said The Rock can't do good promos anymore. How could you say that? He's The Rock. I got killed when I said The Rock's instincts suck. Oh my God, did I get killed for that? I stand by everything I have said. In fact, I expand upon it. And I think everyone else sees it too. This is embarrassing shit. And I said it before and I'll say it again. They've got a Rock problem. And the Rock problem is Ari Emanuel doesn't know wrestling. Ari Emanuel knows Dwayne Johnson. And he knows Nick Khan. So if WWE Smackdown, written by now Brian James as the head writer, the Road Dogg, under Paul Levesque, if all of a sudden they get told days out, 2 days out, whatever it is, The Rock's coming, he wants to do something, you have to change everything. This is like having Vince there again. All of a sudden you have a chaotic agent who, not to say The Rock isn't a big star, not to say if there was a chance to build him up for something in Mania, they should. They shouldn't, I mean. Not to say they shouldn't, they should. However, if it's just him showing up at random times to be jammed in to the show, to act like some heel authority figure from another time, that ain't gonna work. And I said it when he showed up in NXT and said nothing. If he keeps showing up and either saying nothing or just being so bizarre
or saying too much,
it's gonna start killing any buzz he has around. Not buzz. It's gonna start killing the idea around wrestling that you have to see the things that he's doing for the right reasons.
Well, I mean, he meandered badly in NXT, like he had absolutely nothing prepared. I think he even said that, and I believe him. In this case, was this over-prepared? He was trying to sell this story, and in some way
he was trying to remember everything he memorized. He was trying to remember everything him and Gewirtz memorized, and that's the problem. There's no instincts. There's no letting things breathe or feel natural. Everything with Dwayne Johnson in front of the camera, even if it's not a movie or a TV show, it's all performance. He doesn't know how to be real. And because of that, in this day and age, that starts bleeding into these promos where, again, it's so unreal that you could tell there's almost like a problem with the guy. But go ahead.
But how can it be inconsistent if it's so carefully fucking written? How can it be so inconsistent? Every time he shows up, is he gonna kiss somebody, or is he gonna fucking whip him with a weight belt? Is he? He has been alternately fucking playing up to the audience and calling them, sexual deviants with diseases. He's kissing Cody on the face, but he wants to own his soul. But last year, this whole thing started with him kicking a shit out of him, and they never really made up. We just saw him, Rock, come back and start kissing him.
Well, no, they said that was another thing. After the match last year, you and I got together, drank some of my tequilas and needed a cheap free plug. So when did that happen? You guys hated each other last year. You were drinking tequila after the match? Even if you were, why are you saying that here? A lot of these guys can't. I mean, again, this is the same show that in the middle of a wrestling show is showing you clips from this training show that gets 150,000 viewers on A&E, exposing the business. So it's not like that's a big deal to them. But The Rock can't like keep things straight. He wants to be too much at once. He can't just be a heel character.
Well, that's the point I'm making is this, and that's what's happening here is they're confusing people and numbing them to what's going on because we can't keep track of it. It's not like the goddamn, again, the smart fans are upset because it doesn't make sense and because they don't want The Rock getting in the way of the things that they're really wanting to see amongst all the people they've been watching regularly all year, right? Blah, blah, blah. But also, the average person, if they keep doing this, is going to start saying, oh, there's The Rock, but wait a minute, I thought they were mad, or I thought they were hugging each other, or what? It just breeds familiarity, and that breeds blasé. I don't care. I don't care. If I'm not successful, it won't be distressful because I don't care. He's still going to be on the board, so he don't care. But for his ego's sake, I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That's the thing.
But
I say there's a
it's
Rock
just
problem.
back and forth.
There's a Rock problem. At some point, if this continues down the road, it won't be now, but there will be a conversation where Nick Khan and maybe even Paul Levesque have to go sit down with Ari Emanuel and say, this guy can't just show up and do whatever the fuck he wants, especially if it's not working. And this didn't work. People were interested in it for all the wrong reasons. Nobody came at it. I shouldn't say that. There are people trying to defend it, saying, oh, you got to let it play out. You got to see where it goes. I mean, it's the same argument as a lot of the AEW crap. No, this was a bad promo that went nowhere and confused people. People want to see where it goes for the wrong reasons. They want to see how they're going to fix this. They don't want to see anything else.
Well, also, if they want to see where it goes, it doesn't matter where it's going if this it just keeps stopping and starting and changing in the middle of what they've already seen. And instead of being consistent with everything that everybody's been doing over the past several months when their business has been on fire. And suddenly, out of a helicopter, as Jim Herd would say, they drop The Rock. And yes, he's the biggest star in the world. And I said for a lot of people, you can just get out there and bend over and fart into the microphone. It'd be fine and dandy with him. But, you know, it's fucking shit up. And remember, we talk a few weeks ago, they don't need The Rock at WrestleMania this year, or they didn't. Maybe they're not even getting him now. We don't know what the fuck. He just comes in now and confuses the issue and muddies the water at the top level, the top program, right at WrestleMania time again. And this time is later than it was last year. So do they have as much time to course correct if there's backlash and forelash and all kinds of different lashes?